Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Without his centralizing ideology, the Prime Minister would admit that housing is a federal jurisdiction. So the results are in his hands. Montreal has seen an increase of 200% in rent in the past 9 years under this Prime Minister, who is not worth the cost after all his interference in Quebec's area and provincial jurisdiction. He has managed to increase the cost. Will he take this responsibility and the blame personally for having increased the cost of housing? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we see quite clearly the Conservative leader's philosophy. It's that to stand with the wealthiest and to tell everyone else, well, you're alone. We're not going to be there to support you. That is what he says when he pushes austerity and cuts. We have chosen to work in partnership with the Mayor of Montreal, with the Premier of Quebec, with the premiers across the country in order to work together to build housing, to respond to the pressures that we're experiencing in Canada as elsewhere in the world. We are here to create a stronger and more fair future for the next generations. That's what this budget is doing. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Says that this is all about fairness. Well, we'll take him at his word and read the story of Emily, who told the Toronto Star that she could afford a home in 2015 with a mortgage $2,000. But after this Prime Minister's inflationary deficits ballooned mortgage rates, she lost her home, and now she rents a small apartment for $4,000 a month. So small, she says she can smell her own neighbors. Has the Prime Minister been fair to Emily?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, our economy can't succeed unless young people are successful, and that's why the focus in this budget is on fairness for every generation, which is why we are asking the wealthiest 0.1% to pay more in taxes to be able to support families like Emily's and others across the country that have lost the dream of home ownership because of the way the global economy is going, because of pressures that they're living. This is why we're continuing to step up, but what we don't see is why the Conservative leader continues to stand with the ultra-wealthy, continues to block attempts to invest in dental care for low-income people.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, that was exactly the promise he made 9 years ago. He said that Emily wouldn't have to pay any more, that some rich guy would pay. But since then, his trust fund hasn't paid any more taxes. The billionaires that host him on private islands, they don't pay any more taxes. They hide their money abroad. But Emily is paying. She's paying $4,000 a month for an apartment that is so small, she says she smells her neighbors. Is the Prime Minister treating Emily fairly?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative solution for Emily is for governments to do less to support her, to do less to invest in childcare that she may or may not need for her kids, the support for her parents or grandparents who can go to the dentist now because of a Canada Dental program that the Conservatives have blocked, the investments that are going to actually support building more infrastructure in her community, whether it's public transit and, quite frankly, the investments that are going to ensure more apartment buildings, more affordable rentals, more affordable homes are being built. He wants to do less for Emily. We're doing more.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, in 2015, Emily had a home with a mortgage payment of $2,000. Now, she has an apartment with a rental payment of $4,000. How can he possibly suggest that she's better off paying twice as much to rent a place than she was under Conservatives owning one?
The The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, how can the leader of the Conservative Party actually believe that doing less to invest in Emily's future is of help to her? He is standing here continuing to push for austerity and cuts to programs and cuts to the kinds of supports that, yes, Canadians need more than ever before because the world is a much more challenging place. That is why we're continuing to step up. That's why we're asking the wealthiest 0.1% to pay a little more, something that he is standing against, that he will be voting against because he's still in the pockets of the ultra-wealthy instead of focusing on Canadians who need it.